To show you a training that I did for our highest level mastermind members on how I would go from zero to $100,000 a month in tax planning if I had no name, I had no results, I had no CPA license, and I had nothing to me besides a Tax Maverick subscription and the formula that we share with our clients. And I break it all down step by step, phase by phase. Now, as a reminder, my name is Dan. We have done $7.4 million in cash collected. Last month, we did $650,000 cash collected. And we are in the top 1% of businesses in the entire United States out of 33 million people, according to the US Bureau of Statistics. And I'm doing these trainings just so I can remember these things. It's not earning claims or anything like that. I'm just trying to do these things to document and also to help anybody else or to train our team. And cumulatively, our network has saved their clients $220 million in tax savings. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. I'm going to drop a link below if you want to get access to the software. If you're a tax advisor, the software there, you can get a free trial with the link below. Other than that, I'm going to break down exactly what I would do to go to $100,000 a month. And I think one of the best businesses you can start today is a virtual business, obviously a virtual business, education type business, and tax planning is one of those best businesses to start in 2025, 2026, because it's high, it works with high growth, high net worth individuals. It has high margins, meaning you're like selling information. And it is one of the things that the wealthiest clients on planet Earth all talk about, how to save money on taxes. And so if you can learn the game of tax savings, oh my gosh, the game is rigged. And if you're watching this and you're a tax professional, the game is rigged in your favor because you already have credentials, you already have experience. And I'm doing it like if I'm someone brand new to the space and how I would go to $1 million a year business in less than 8 months with zero, starting from scratch. So let's hop right over to that training now. Here's how I build a 100K a month cash collected tax planning business from scratch if I have in less than 8 months, starting with zero clients whatsoever. I don't even have tax prep clients. Okay. So for context, there is a process, a different process to go and get your current customers to pay you so you can pay for future growth and expansion, which if you do have current clients, please use that instead. It's a better leverage point altogether. It's just so much more easier. The path I'm going to show you right now, because I wouldn't have any clients at this path, it's going to be hard. And I'm already knowing that going into this path because I've gone down this path 3 times in my life already. I've had to go down this path of going to zero, and then bringing it back up to $1 million business in very, very short time frames. And so, anyways, so for context, this is what we've done. So you can see here at the bottom, when we started this company, zero. I mean, we made $400 in the first month and then 8,000, 150, 200, 100, 28, 35, 100, 48. And so you can see here all the way up to $652,000 cash collected. And so what I share with you is, founded in actual numbers. Okay. And so this is what I would be asking myself. These are the questions I need to answer before I go and nail it and scale it. These are things that I need to do in the pre-frame before I even approach this thing. And most people don't even spend time thinking about how they're going to approach growth. Most people are just like, okay, I'm going to go do it. But what's it? And so I get it. When you're just starting out, chaos is rampant in your life, and that's okay. But over time, as I've learned and as we've scaled the companies and talking to 100 millionaires, people that make tens of millions of dollars a year and don't work, what they tell me is systems rule everything. And if you know the rules, you can rule. And so I'm going to show you the rules of growing and scaling a company step by step so that way you don't have to go through the mistakes. You don't have to have that unknown. So you want some variables to be unknown so that you can create the vision, but you don't want everything to be unknown. You want a path forward. And that's kind of my job for you today. So here's some questions I'd be answering. The first thing I would have to do is me personally. I'm like, how much do I have to cover my monthly expenses? Right? Like, I have to pay for my house. I have to pay for my vehicle. I have to pay for light. I have to pay for rent. I have to pay, and like, I have to pay all these things. And those things, there's a saying that goes, you can only expense down to a certain degree until you can't expense anymore. Like you can't, I'm sorry, you can only reduce your expenses down to a certain degree. Like you can't go to zero on expenses. Like but there's no ceiling on how much you can earn. But there is a ground floor to where your expenses could go. So I can do my best to take that 8,000. So in this case, in this scenario, I'm at $8,000 a month, right? And I'll shoot a little bit more, so it pushes me a little bit more. I'm gonna shoot a little bit more in my expenses. Let's say it's $8,000 to $10,000 a month right now, right? And that's my monthly expenses just to hold everything. Even if I had no business, remember, I have no business in this case. I'm starting from scratch. My monthly expenses, we just lost everything. You guys all just left, and we're like, okay, what do we do from here? Right? I have nothing and I know nothing, right? And so all I have in front of me is the knowledge that I came with and the Tax Maverick software and the care formula and the marketing system that the team has put together for me. And now I'm applying this, okay? And so what I do is I'm going to go look at my monthly expenses. So the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, can I get this expense down? How far can I get it down without like sacrificing like my quality of life? I don't want to have to just like never drink coffee at Starbucks again. You know, I don't want to have to get rid of my vehicles. I don't want to have to tell my son, hey, you can't eat that because we can't afford this. I don't want to have to do that. So what's the lowest I can go to before I get to that threshold? And let's say hypothetically, I can get this down to $5,000 to $6,000 a month. That's the first thing I would do is look at my expenses and find out which things am I overspending on that it's a nice to have because I have more money now. But if I didn't have the money, what would I need to cut now so I can at least give myself a little bit of breathing room? Okay, that's the first question I'd ask myself. Number two, here's a very interesting thing that you guys that if you did this, you would, man, it would free up your breathing room if you're strapped for cash. Is can I negotiate all my bills to the end of the month so I can have a longer runway? Just think about it. If your bill comes the beginning of the month for your house, for your expenses, if you can extend it to the end of the month and today's month one or day one, you just got yourself 30 more days that you can go hard. And most people underestimate the amount of things that they can do in 30 days when your back's against the wall. And the reason why I know that is because my back's been against the wall many times, and I know how much efforts could be applied if you really just focus. And most people don't focus. That's why they never really get to that degree of like scale. And that's what I'd be asking. How can I push my expenses far out? And how can I push revenue close as possible? Do you see the math there? I already made myself more money. I'm just pushing my expenses out as far as I can, and then I'm pulling cash as close as I can. So I give myself some breathing room as far as payments. Okay. And then number three is I know I can get myself 0% credit cards because I have pretty good credit. And if you guys have ever tried that, I do it just because it's like, I mean, it's like to me, it's like a loan. Like it's like a free loan for 12 months or whatever. And my son makes fun of me all the time because he's like, Dad, you got so many credit cards. I'm like, dude, like you don't get it. If I could have someone else front the bill, and I have the cash, I'm going for it. Like I'm gonna have someone else pay for my problems or my bills, so I don't have to. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I feel that way. I'm like, I don't want to have to pay my own bills. So who's gonna pay for them? I told this recently to when we were fixing my the plumbing in my restroom, and I'm like, I'm not paying for this. And miraculously, I found a way to find someone else to pay, and I'm like, cool. In this case, it was a different strategy, right? But one of those things is I can get 0% interest on my, like in this case, if I have an LLC, I can go get 0% interest on my LLC, even though I didn't have it. I've done this before plenty of times where I didn't even have on my LLC, I didn't even have finances coming through, but I was still able to get like $30,000 in 0% interest business loan credit funding. You know what I mean? And so when I do that, I'm like, cool, I got myself a little nest egg of not my own money. That's okay. I get it. 0% on the business. It's not going to affect my personal credit. Anyways, long story short, these are the three things I would be thinking through right now, just so I can give myself some breathing room so I can attack the market the way I want to do it. Does that make sense so far? You guys with me? Put yes in the chat if you're following along. Okay, so So that's what I'd be doing. I'd be trying to push expenses as far as I can out, trying to get other people to pay for my expenses for now so that I can go and approach the market with vigorous attention to that. Like I want to go hard as I can. I want as much focus as I can. And the one thing that will stop me is thinking lingering thoughts about, oh, this payment, this payment, this payment, this payment. And that's the thing that will stop me because it has before. And so I'm telling you in advance how to fix that. Okay. And then the next question I would ask, okay, cool, let's get into the business now. How much do I want to earn per year per client? Okay. I want to charge, in this case, I'm giving a $15,000 minimum. So I want a client that can pay me $15,000 a year. Now, the question I usually people come up is like, oh, I can't charge $15,000. Well, if you had the right person, you could, right? The reason why you can't charge 15,000 is because you have the wrong people. But in this case, I have a clean slate. So I know I have I'm almost ignorant to everything. So I'm like, someone's going to pay me $15,000. And what would look, listen to this question right here. What would have to be true for that client to pay me
Here, baby.
$15,000?
Pass.
Do they have to be making $1 million a year? This is how I'm backing into my ideal client just by how much I want to charge. Because if they make $500,000 a year, they can probably afford $15,000. But if they're making $100,000 a year, I'm taking 15% of their income away from them. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's five, it's literally like 15%. That's five times, it's like 3% of the revenue. I'm taking 3% of the revenue if I'm getting 15% off of the 500,000. Now I know they have other expenses too, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's only 3%, right? And there's probably more meat on the bone that I can do tax strategy wise if someone's 500,000 to $1 million. And so my goal is to go to the richer people in the front end. I know it feels more easy in the beginning because I'm gonna be scared at this
La
point because I
llave
know
de
I
la
lost
troca.
everything. I have nothing. I know I'm gonna be
No, lo tenés aquí.
fearful that, oh my gosh, these big people won't pay me.
Préstame la
But
llave.
the truth is, it's not that. The higher end people want to pay you, and the lower end people don't want to pay you, which you're actually setting yourself up for failure if you go after the cheap
Yeah.
people in the beginning.
So
Because
true.
it's two negatives happening. It's like going to um in the beginning, I want to stack all the cards in my favor. It's kind of like I want to go to Vegas and I want to make sure that everything on the little thing is black and I want to bet on black every single time. I don't want any variables. I want to control the things that I can control for. So I can control who I'm going after. I can control the target market. I can control a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing. And so because I can control it, perfect. I'm going to go after what I want. Simple. Okay. Then notice I'm going to spend a lot of time on the marketing math because the number one thing that most people miss is, oh, sorry, someone was, okay, I'm not sure if I was unmuted. Was I unmuted? No. Okay, cool. No worries. All right. So the marketing math, the number one thing in business is marketing math. Bar none, if you do not know your math of your business, you will never scale beyond where you want to go. Like there's no way. Okay, cool. There is no way that you're going to expand to the level of degree that you want. It has to be the math. The math determines the path. There's no argument about that. There's no contention against it. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this marketing math. I'm going to do my math and back into what type of effort I need to hit so that my goals are guaranteed. How do you guarantee your success? You back into the amount of effort that's required to make sure that that success is guaranteed. And so most people don't do the inputs, but yet they want the outputs. So for an example, we had a big target. I mean, we just obliterated our recent target for what we wanted to do for the Maverick movement, get people to get there. We obliterated that. But we wouldn't have done that had I not told the team 2 weeks prior that we need a freaking hammer. And like it has to be explosive. And if you guys were there at the Maverick movement, you saw what happened. You saw there was more of you guys showed up and played full out than ever before. but it was the math that determined the path. Okay. And so number one, in the first month, I want to do a couple things. Number one, I want to cover my expenses. Since I know that I'm going to be expensing about $6,000 to $8,000, like my personal expenses, I know I have to cover that. Okay. And so I'm going to try to not come out of pocket to take care of my expenses. I'm going to find a way to organically make $6,000 to $10,000 a month. I'm going to do it, and I'll find a way. And I'm going to show you the way, which is even better. Number two is I want to validate this offer, which it's already validated because the care formula, I would be using the care formula here, is very, very important to this. And make sure I hit my input targets. For an example, I'm training right now for a half marathon. How do I ensure that I hit a half marathon in less than 2 hours? I start running now. So November 9th, it's going to be all but inevitable that I can hit the target. How do I guarantee that success then? Prepare now. Does that make sense? I can guarantee my success then by preparing now. And so when I get to the day of, I'm already there. Like it's been planned. It's already been proven that I can do it. Right. And my nervous system has already approached that. Okay. Number four is I'm going to try to get to 30K a month by month 3. If you guys have been doing this for a while and haven't hit 30K a month, it's probably because you're missing some of these key lessons in here. Okay. By month 4 to 6, I want to be scaling up by using paid ads. I want to be using paid ads, and I want to be building a fulfillment process. Notice the time frame I'm trying to build the fulfillment process. I'm not going to try to build a bunch of stuff in the beginning. I just need to get money. I just need to get out of poverty. I need to break through. Like if people are upset and all that stuff, that's fine, because once I can break through, there's going to be some that are going to say, okay, this was great. Some are going to say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. That's okay. I'm trying to change my family's life right now. Right. And I'm doing my best. Okay. And eventually my best will get better. Right. By month 6, I want to scale up paid ads and build the fulfillment process there. Month 6 to 8, which I did 4 to 5. So I want to do this. My skill set is different than y'all's skill set, right? So some of you guys, it will take you longer to do the ads part. It will take me 2 months. Some people took 3 to 4 months. Like Kyle took him 3 months to nail it. But once he did, he went right past 100K a month within 5 months. Okay. And some of you guys will get stuck in month 1 through 3 for longer than anybody else. If you're hovering around less than 30, it's because you're running a loop of inconsistency. And in this phase right here, you have to be super consistent, more than you have to do like later on down the path, because then you'll have team members that can be consistent on your behalf. But you have to be extremely consistent in the first couple months. And so my funnel math, this is how my funnel math, these are my assumptions. I'm going to go into this approach and say, for me to hit my targets, these numbers have to be true. Okay. And this is very, 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 oh my gosh, please don't miss this part. Please don't miss this part, because these assumptions are critical, because one thing right here can move the needle. In fact, I did this recently with our team. One thing, and boom, we added an additional $25,000 to $50,000 extra a month. No additional paid ads. Okay. And so it's just knowing these numbers. So number one, I want 15% of my leads to book an appointment, approximately. Okay. I want the people who booked an appointment with me. David, I know you run ads, so this is very important for you. Yes, you. Okay. I want 60% show up rates from the people who book a call to show up to the call, discovery calls. Okay. And in this, by the way, in this process right here, what I'm assuming you guys have access to: Tax Maverick software, the school community, this asset here, right? And Tax Advisor Accelerator 3.0, because we have all these numbers dialed in for you. So we have KPIs like red, yellow, green, and your CSM walks you through these things. That's why they're trying to get you close to these numbers, so that when you hit these numbers, once these numbers are hit true, it's nailing it scale. Like the only variables that will stop is your own self. Like the math will make sense. Okay. And I want, of the people that show up, let's say I talk to 10 people, I want 7 out of the 10 people to be qualified. Now, in this case, because qualified could be like an arbitrary term, in this case, for this particular scenario, qualified to me means they pay more than $25,000 in taxes. Some of you guys are like, they're not qualified if they don't pay at least $500 million taxes. I'm like, dude, calm down. It doesn't have to be like that. In the beginning, some people need to be helped. And I know I was that person. Like, I'm not gonna talk to anybody that unless they have $500,000 tax liability. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to pay to play, and it's gonna be a lot harder to get them than it is to get the other guys. It's gonna cost the same amount of effort, right? In fact, probably double or triple. And you have to come with a lot more. If you want to do that kind of number, you gotta come with a lot more expertise and results, right? But this is assuming I have nothing. I have none of that. And so my qualified to close rate, meaning if I talk to 10 qualified people, I want 2 people, just 2, to pay for my assessment fee. Those are my assumptions, guys. These are my assumptions, okay? And so now I'm gonna approach this with ferocious approach. Like meaning I'm gonna attack this thing. I have to because my life and my family's life is at stake here, right? I have no way to go back. And this is a very important number right here that nobody talks about, but it is the key driver for us, even at like the scale we're at. This is how I determine how many people, how much ad spend we have to do, how many team members we're going to need, how much, like, how do we project into the future, how we're going to get to whatever the revenue number is. It's percentage of leads closed. Please don't miss this. From a cold market, okay, from a cold market, you will convert 1 to 2% of your leads. Okay, so you need 100 leads to get 1 assessment or 1 program close. From warm market, you will get 3 to 5% of those leads to close, meaning they know you, they like you, they trust you a little bit. 3 to 5%. A hot market, you can think somewhere in the range of, if you have 100 customers right now, 10 to 15% will turn into a customer. Additional, like that next customer. Okay. And that numbers I've seen so much data points that I can tell you almost holds true. And so if you say, hey, I want 10 assessments and I have 100 customers, I'd say you got that. That's an easy target. Easy. It's on point. Like you just have to go in just approach them. You're going to hit that target. Like it's not going to be hard. In fact, you can probably squeeze 15 out. That's how I can, like, with you guys, we can look through that and say, okay, cool. So for me, I'm going to assume I'm only going to convert 1% because they're completely cold. I have no idea what I'm doing and they don't know I can do anything for them. So I'm going to go the back end of it. I'm going to say I have to do a lot more, and I'd like to be pleasantly surprised with the results of better than underwhelmed with the results of less. Right? And so that's why I'm trying to account for the worst case scenario so that if I get the worst case scenario, then I hit my target. But in most cases, I'm going to hit better than normal numbers. All right. And then in the early months, here's what I'm assuming, because nobody's going to trust me. Nobody's going to do anything. And I don't think that I'm good at assessments. I don't think I'm good at tax planning. In fact, I might mess up their tax plans. I might have to ask you guys for questions, right? You guys have the community, right? So I'll do an assessment and I'll say, hey, can someone spitball some ideas here? I'm even happy to pay you for your hour of your time if you just look it over and confirm with me that it's working. Like, this is what I'm willing to do to change my family's life. And this kind of like approach, this urgency type approach, is how we approach this so that way you can get out of like this phase very quickly. I'd assume that, from the assessment to the annual program, like meaning out of 10 people that I did an assessment for, only 3 would move forward with an annual program of $15,000. But later on, as I do more assessments, as I fulfill better, I assume that I'm going to get closer to about 50%. That's my assumption. Okay, these are assumptions. Again, all these could break at any point, but I need something to stick. I need something to set as a target so I can say, did I hit that? Did I hit that? Did I hit that? And then I can always change it down the road. Okay, then I need to determine my price points. All right, so in the beginning, I'm going to sell assessments for $1,500 because I'm not confident. Remember, I got nothing. But I do want my annual program. I want my time to be paid for, right? $15,000 is little because the amount of work I'm going to put for them is little. And so what that means is, this is just some math here. Again, inside of Skool, there's a goal setting sheet that your CSM worksheet through, and you literally just put in numbers. It gives you a calculation. This little calculation right here is a little. It's a formula that we give you a sheet, and it just kind of puts it for you, and it'll tell you. Okay, so that means I need about 5 assessments and 2 annual programs per month to hit my target of $30,000. Not hard. I'm just like, okay, cool. What now? No, I know what I'm sorry. What I know now is that I need 500 leads because I'm going to convert 1%. So 1% of 500, I need 500 leads. So that's my target, leads, 500 leads. However much it costs in time and energy, I'm going to do it. That thing. How much effort do I need to put as far as outreach, content, all that stuff? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because I need the 500 leads. And then I divide 500 by 30 days. And boom, now I have how many leads I need per day. And I can back into how many people I need to reach out to once I get that. Does that make sense? This is how you guys grow a business. Like, don't make no mistake. This is how you grow a business. This is not not theory. This is actually what we've done. And then assuming that I get a little bit better, right? In month 4 and 5, and I convert a little bit better, then I need less leads to convert the same number. I would need less leads to get the same number. And then assuming it's in month 6 to 8, I get a little bit better and I charge a little bit more. Right? Because now I'm having 5 to 7 assessments per month. Now I have the volume where I can say, hey, I'm going to increase the price. And if people pay, great. If not, I have 5 other people behind you. Right? Again, these are all assumptions, but pretty good about assumptions. Okay. And then who's my ideal client? At this stage, when I'm 0, I have no idea because I have no case studies. Some of you guys are in that stage. You're like, I don't even know who I want to go after. Let me choose someone. So I have to choose. I know for me personally, I have a lot of high income earners because I've invested a lot in myself in the past, and I have some good networks. But even if I hadn't had one, if I didn't have the network I have, I know one rich person, and I do whatever I can to use them as a case study to send other high income earners. This is what, by the way, this is what I did with David back in the day. I just go for the popular kid, and the popular kid introduces you to everybody. Like, some of you guys just missed that, and that is the key. Instead of having to go around and look for hard effort, just look for the path of least resistance, especially in the beginning, because business, as hard as it is, might as well stack the cards in your favor. Okay, so who will I need? So based on what I know about y'all's business, we have the hiring matrix, and I've analyzed over 10,000 tax professionals to identify what's like kind of the numbers or where you should be. We have the hiring matrix. The hiring matrix tells me that I need about 4 to 5 people to get to $100,000 a month. When I get to $100,000 a month, I'm gonna have a team of about 4 or 5 people. If I have more, that means my efficiency is low, meaning my profits are low, meaning we're doing a lot of work and not getting a lot of profit, and we don't even know who's doing what. So if you ever ask the question like, hey, what does everybody do all day? That's probably an efficiency number. And it reflects in this revenue per employee. So this is a huge target for me, by the way. I would shoot a target in the beginning, independent. Like if this person does not, even if the person does not actually drive revenue directly, I want them to be associated with revenue, meaning they took time off of my plate so I can go make more revenue. By the way, we have run this company at a close to about $350,000 revenue per employee. That's how I know I could do that. Because I've done it before, right? I just have the experience. Now you guys get to lean into the experience and say, got it, that could be my target. Even if it's at $250,000 or $200,000 revenue per employee, these people don't have to be salespeople. They can be an accountant, but that accountant has to be able to save you enough time so you can go make that additional money. That's how that works. Okay. That would be my target. So what's my offer? I'm going to use the CARE formula, assessment plus annual program. What are my controllables? Okay. The controllables. These are the things that I'm going to focus relentlessly on doing. I don't know if the market's going to, the market could do what the market does, but these things I need to be able to control 1000%. How much volume I do, content, emails, posts. I need to be able to control that, and I can. That's the great part about that. Messages outbound, calls made. I can control that, so I will. And I'm going to ensure that I hit these targets every single day, because if I do those things, my results are all but guaranteed. Okay. Number of leads generated, follow-up attempts. I can do this. These are all things I can do. Book to call percentage, right? I can account for these things. Show up rate, close rate. Okay. So let's talk about the phases. Let's talk about the phases. I'm going to talk about the delivery in between phases. So phase one, this is what I would do if I was starting from scratch. So what I would do. Number one, I'd put tremendous amount of effort into just doing marketing in the beginning. Like I would probably tell my spouse to say, hey, can you, like I have a son, right? And if he was going to school, he homeschooled now. But if he was going to school, I'd say, hey, can you pick him up for the next 30 to 60 days? I need to dial in. I need to take care of our family, but it's going to require my effort. It's going to require my 100% focus. Can you do that for me just for 30 to 60 days? I'll take you on vacation in 2 months, but give me this, right? I'm going to put 100 more time than I think, just to get my first people even to agree to a free case study. So my first offer in the beginning is going to be free with testimony, meaning I will do your assessment at no cost, all in exchange if you give me a case study, if you do a video case study for me. Why does that help? Because you build what we call trust assets in the beginning. If you build this trust asset, you can give it to someone else, the new prospect, and say, here's what someone else said about me. And what they say about you is more impactful than what you say about you. Okay, so that's why I've spent a disproportionate amount of time getting proof in the beginning. And it's that important. Okay. And if I need 100 leads to get one assessment that pays, I'd assume I need the same amount of energy to get one free case study. So I'm going to do that kind of energy. I'm going to put that kind of energy into it. All right. So I probably need 1,000 leads in month one, which is crazy, but hey, I got myself into this. I'm going to get myself out of it. Right. And that's kind of the thought process there. For delivery, here's what I'd be doing. Let's say I get my first customers at early bird pricing of about $1,500 to $2,000, right? Early bird pricing. Before I roll it out to the marketplace, I'm gonna give it to you guys because you guys are early birds. You guys are awesome. You know, think about Maverick movement, right? The certification. You guys get early bird pricing. It's the same strategy. We're doing the same strategy at a different scale. And so I want you guys to not only listen to what I'm saying, but watch what we're doing, because we're just implementing the same formulas at a different level. For delivery, here's what I do. I deliver massive wins fast, even if it's messy. I don't worry about TaxDome. I'm not worrying about any of those things. I'm not worrying about automations and workflows and none of that stuff. I'm just worrying about, can I get this person the promise that I made them? That's it. If I can, it doesn't matter how I deliver it, how it looks, how pretty it is. It does not matter. All that matters is the results in the beginning. So in the beginning, who does the work? Just me. So the offer delivery is kind of what we're going to do here is baseline, opportunities, savings, and I just do this inside of Tax Maverick. So I'm going to prioritize 1 to 2 strategies, maybe three strategies to get a quick win. For most of you guys, entity restructure is easy. You just turn someone into a S Corp, boom, instant $35,000 savings. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm in the room, right? Like I'm in the zone now. I got this, right? If all I did was get on the call and say, hey, you're a sole prop, let's turn you into S Corp, and I show you $35,000 in tax savings because now you're not paying self-employment tax, you're paying the payroll tax on a lower whatever. If I do that, because I know that because I did that for myself, right? So if all I did that, I'm like, perfect. And then I show them, I'm like, look how much you saved. And they're like, oh my gosh, sure, genius. Perfect. Say that on a video camera, right? That's how you do it. That's how you can deliver an instant tax savings for someone, even though it's not reflected for the next 12 months on their tax return. Does that make sense? So most of you guys are like, okay, I'll wait for a testimonial for the next year when their tax return comes back. But no, the savings are instant as soon as you apply the thing and assuming that they do the investments. But for the S Corp thing, it's virtually instant, right? Anyways, I can do that very quickly. And then I document before and afters. I'll go into Tax Maverick and I'll take a screenshot before, after S Corp. And I won't even say S Corp. Because the client doesn't know S corp or nothing. All they're gonna know is like, hey, that was tax. Now there's not. Perfect. What do you what did you do? That's all I want them to say. Fulfillment. I just use Tax Maverick software and a simple CRM. In fact, I probably just use Google Sheets. I just probably use Google Sheets, to be honest. And I record every assessment I do so I can recycle it as proof. I can get little snippets, and I'm thinking about the future right now. I'm not thinking about just right now. I'm thinking about what am I going to use this for in the future? Am I going to use it for training? Am I going to use it for future marketing? Am I use it for like how I create the formulas? Can I put this stuff into ChatGPT after and make my own ChatGPT AI, like so that it creates its own little Daniel brain? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Okay. Um, Note in this first part is the most difficult because I'm gonna have a lot of work, not a lot of payouts, and I'm still having to cover expenses. So in phase number one, in this stage, I'm gonna be emotional roller coaster. I know it. And you know it too. If you've been in that stage before, you know it's an emotional roller coaster. And so the things that I can control are like my going to sleep on time, eating healthy, so that my central nervous system doesn't go out of whack. Right? That's what I'd be controlling. Phase two, discounted assessments. After I get my first case studies, I'm gonna go to the machine that brought me the people onto my calendar, and I'm gonna hire an executive assistant. I know I don't have money yet, but remember, I pushed out my investments. I'm sorry, my expenses. I got a 0% credit card. I'm gonna pay them through that, and now I gotta go. Like I'm all in. Okay. And the great thing is I don't have to pay them for the next 30 to 45 days because they get hired and then the payroll rolls around the next 30 days. So I actually extend that to another 30 days. So if you notice the trend here, I'm pushing my expenses far out and I'm pulling cash flow close. Do you guys get that? Like that part right there is the ninja play that most of you guys miss. You do it, you just don't think about doing it. But now I'm pulling that unconscious, subconscious kind of confidence or competent, whatever they call it. I'm bringing it to the light of you so you can actually use this as a framework to roll through. You're like, huh, cash flow strap. Where can I optimize? Right? What can I use here? Okay. Executive assistant appointment setter, keep the flow going, meaning the machine I'm using to get people to talk to me and do assessments for or for free, I'm going to keep that same flow. The only thing I'm going to change is, hey, I did it for free for these people. You can still get it for free. All you need to do is maybe just say like deposit the $1,500, and after I present it to you, you can have it back, or I can apply it to your implementation. What a thought. See what I mean? And now I got cash, and some people want it back, which I doubt anybody will. Most people just roll it over into their annual program. Or I could just say, hey, it's going to be discounted because in the future I'm going to charge 3,000 for the same thing, and right now it's only $1,500, and I have 15 other people waiting for this call. But volume allows you to be able to do that. So I continue this process until I hit about $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Once I do that, I'd have to hire an onboarding slash a tax person. I don't want to hire a CPA or a really high tax strategist at this stage because they're going to ask for $150,000 base. I'm not even making $150,000 take home. I'm probably taking home like 3,000 at this point. So there's a huge risk to that. So you almost need to take an apprentice, someone that's like a tax professional that's probably working at another place and they're looking for a good opportunity to grow. And the opportunity could be like, hey, I want you to grow with this company, and there's future growth here. Great stuff. There is great stuff. And I can't pay you $100,000, but your OTE, on track earnings, could potentially get you there in year two. And then you just map the path of math, and that's how we get great talent, by the way. Great talent looks at OTE, on track earnings. Super simple, not complex, nothing crazy. This will allow me to free up my time so I can get assessments. Now note, I'm going to train this person as my right hand. I'm going to obsess over getting Tax Maverick Team involved, because when these people are doing the onboarding, collecting information, how they collect information, how they help you build the tax plan is so important. Because if they mess that up, guess what? Your annual program call is broken, your fulfillment is broken, and you have to go back to the beginning and start again. So it's important to actually nail this part right here, this this fulfillment and question or this onboarding call, it's really important to get all the questions you need in the front end so you don't have to come back and loop back around. Great thing is Tax Maverick has most of those questions for you. Okay. Goal, standardize assessments. So in this stage, I'm going to have me, an EA, and my tax professional. Okay. My EA is going to help me with my appointment setting and continue outreach. My onboarder is going to probably help me with onboarding them and getting them acclimated and, communicating with them a little bit. And really delivery rhythm here would be, I want to get the client data from in less than 7 days. I want to build the plan in less than 7 days, and I want to present the plan in less than 7 days. So the whole turnaround time is 21 days. From, and that right there, that George talks about that, the 21-day rule. Okay. Then in phase 2, phase 1, like, look at that. Just in phase 1, some of you guys should just stop right there and be like, there's a lot of gold in there I haven't done, and that's why I'm not at $30,000 a month. Just that right there. In phase 2, this is where things start to speed up real fast. Once I get to $30,000 a month, I'm going to start deploying paid ads in the mix. The great news is you guys have the exact ads framework to do, and you guys have the resources at your disposal, which is like the ads mastermind. My target is to get 100 leads for one assessment sale. So if I'm charging $2,500, then I want the leads to cost around 20 to 50 bucks. Even if I have to extend myself financially in this stage, like I'm losing money, I'm okay. As long as I'm hitting my lead to booking ratio about 10%, 10 to 20%, again, I'm hitting those numbers that I told you above. As long as I'm hitting those, I will extend as far as I can because I know that it's going to come back to me. I know it's inevitable. I know that the numbers are they're gonna break through. It's just a matter of time. And if I need to keep extending my credit or doing like rollover credits, whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do something strange for some change because I know this process is gonna slap and let me go hard, right? And so that's what I would be doing. Or I'd push some annual programs across the board sooner and do some discounts, like a 10% discount if they pay in full now. Again, I have to do something strange for some change because I need to get this cash flow so I can redump it back into ads so I can go fast. If you're noticing something, like there is a lot of things that you guys were waiting for, you can pull it a lot closer once you get committed to the target. This is me committing to the target and I'm breaking it down step by step. Like for an example, we committed to $1 million a month target. And we're trying to hit it now, not later. So what do we have to do to pull all that over here? Do we have to increase ads? Do we have to do this? Do we have to do... It's the commitment first, then the creativity comes after. Okay. So you got to get committed to the target, and then the target will allow you to get the result. Okay. Once I can get that number to hold, meaning like 1 or 2 months, I'll spend enough time to acquire, I'll spend enough to acquire a tax plan assessment for $2,000 to $5,000. Now, most of you guys, I've seen in their numbers, you'll get it for like $1,000 to $2,000 for assessment. But once I get to this target, I'm doubling down. I'm spending more. I'm begging. I'm asking anybody I know for money because I got this machine that can pump out cash, and I only have a little bit of it. So I got to get someone else to give me cash, right? Remember, I'm going to ask someone else to fund my growth, and I'm going to run this up till I can get at least to about $70,000 a month. Okay. Phase 4 is really the last phase. Now that I got the marketing working, the onboarding, the tax pro, I'm still doing a lot of the work, right? Quote unquote. I'm still doing a lot of the planning. I'm still doing a lot of client communication. Now I need to get out of that. I need to get out of the communication with clients. I need to stop talking to them all the time. I have, at this stage, you should have 20 to 30 assessments and 20 to 30, about 15 to 20 annual programs. This is where you need to start thinking, I need to hire a client success manager or a retention manager or whatever you think. But this person right here is going to be between me and the clients. So they're going to be the communicator, right? They're going to be the champion for your results, not me. Because if I'm still the champion for results, I'm the bottleneck. Some of you guys haven't even hit this. So you're like, okay, that's going over my head. Some of you guys are like, I got here. I don't know what this part goes. Okay. This person actually could be your onboarder who ascends, who becomes your CS because they're already communicating with these clients. They're already asking them the questions that need, and they already know the plan. right? So they can help push the plan forward. So they might have a dual role, and that's okay in the beginning. It's going to be a little messy. This will give me the opportunity to go back and optimize marketing, get on more calls, and allow me to go get my first salesperson if I want. At this stage, I'm going to be doing north of $80,000 to $100,000 a month. I know this. It's just math, right? It's just a formula. And to close. So there you go. That's how I'd go from 0 to $100,000 a month, 100K, in less than 8 months. If I had to start from scratch, not have an audience or a big team or even have a name. And by the way, this is exactly what we teach because it's a formula and there's a science to this, which means those who know the rules rule. You guys rock. To show you, and if you want to see how we did $652,000 cash collected in under 1 month, watch this next video.